it's another to really feel how it feels in your body. And I really do believe it's in the body that it happens, where you first meet someone. How does it vibrate? What is the first thoughts also that you have about this person? And you have to go for anything that feels great, that vibrates well, that opens your heart, that makes you feel good. Anything that is belonging to fear, or if the person, how is the person walking the talk, and are they really living that? If they're talking about abundance, are they really abundant, or they want to be abundant through you?
There goes a sight from my soul.
Welcome to the Inspired Evolution. And we have with us today someone that's been inspiring my evolution, Lilou Mace. Lilou, how are you today?
Hey, very good.
It is
awesome.
Such a pleasure to have you here. For those tuning in to Lilou for the first time, I don't believe it, first of all. Second of all, she's a French-American author, web TV host, video blogger, speaker, interviewer. And in my professional and humble opinion, she's a presenter kind of like no other. Her life changed when she met Oprah in Chicago in 2006. I'd actually really want to hear, just for my own sake, what was in that moment? How did that moment come to be for you, Lilou? Like Chicago 2006, it's now 2022, 16 years ago. What happened in that moment? Because it's a moment that changed.
That was just one of those moments where you feel you're right on track with your destiny, because meeting her and being in the audience of the show, and it ignited in me. I mean, it just all of a sudden I just knew what I was meant to do. It was wild. It was like vroom, all of a sudden everything was aligned. And everything made sense, and I got excited, and I needed to learn really fast how to do this, and how to interview, and how to upload videos. And I was already doing, video blogging, but not really interviewing. So I had been on YouTube since 2006. So at the time, it was just the perfect timing for me to take it to the next step, which was interviews. So it was magical. She's really, very magnetic, charismatic, and something with her soul journey just really resonated. It was vibration. It was something that was just a match.
Can I ask you about that?
I knew I wouldn't have the same destiny as her, but I wanted to interview also,
Yeah. Was it a feeling, or was it I get the sense it was a knowing almost in your, can you describe in your body, what told you it was an alignment?
In my body, everything was vibrating, it was like I was a Christmas tree. Every cell was glowing, and I was like, this is it. Oh my God, this is it. I was so captivated. Everything, all my intention was there, and I was like, oh, this is it. It was just light bulb moments, there was no place for doubts. It was just it. It was a match. It was a vibrational match. Boom. Let's go for it.
I love it. And now
really good.
You've been interviewing. There is not, humbly, there is not a spiritual teacher on the planet that you pretty much haven't interviewed. I would pretty much go as far as saying. And
there are many, there's so many spiritual teachers. At the time, I was on, and I would do so many interviews every day. But now there are so many, and there's more and more. As more people are waking up and want to take on this journey and are ready to share. I believe all of us, have something to share, a book to write. So it's just endless, really. No, I haven't interviewed everyone. I couldn't even do it in a lifetime. My God, that's exciting. That's a good thing.
But that actually bleeds into one of the questions I really wanted to ask you today, Lilou, because you've been doing this for a lot longer than I've been doing it. And, surely you've seen, now podcasting is something that everybody's talking about. Every man and his dog has a podcast these days, right? But when you started out, it was, having a YouTube channel was a little bit more foreign. And you would, even the conversations you've been having, the thread, the essence of them is still very much embedded within spirit. But I guess the question I really wanted to ask was, what have you, and I know this is a very big question and maybe hard to answer, but what have you noticed has been the evolution of kind of spirituality that you've witnessed from what it was like 16 years ago to what it is today? Like you said, there's more people that are opening up and more teachers that are emerging. What have you seen that's been like an overarching sort of shift over the years in this space that you've committed and
Yeah,
dedicated your life to?
as you said, a lot of people wanting to learn about this. So because of that, then it's not anymore. It's less of a. I mean, not struggle is not the right word, but it's less. You have to put less efforts. Like people want to hear it, want it. Are craving for this information. People are ready to be interviewed. It's easier to get people's attention to interview them. People are used to now to have bloggers and influencers and people online, so they're more open to this. I mean, honestly, when I was there in their home with my little camera, these guys had only been on for the ones that had been interviewed. They were only on TV. There was 2006 is the beginning of YouTube, so there was no like video blogger coming to their home and interviewing them. So it was new for me, it was new for them, which creates, of course, magic. And now a lot of people are doing it. So it's just, I think we have to have more, how do you say, discernment now also, because there's so many different things. And more than ever, I feel it's really about listening deep within to our inner voice and being authentic more than ever, and really choosing the path that resonates, but within our own integrity. Like, really, am I doing this for the right reason, or am I doing this coming from fear or from love? And really checking each time, whether it's for an interview, whether it's for a project, whether it's for business, whether it's for a book I need to read, a place I need to go on holiday. I mean, I feel it's all about, it's just like things are revealing themselves now. There's no place for bullshit anymore. Like, we really have to walk the talk more than ever. Like, before that, I could go away with, okay, I'm following 95% of my intuition. Now I need to do 100%, and really be aligned with that. And I feel with everybody into this, it's more important than ever with everything that is happening around the world too. So it's exciting, it's challenging, but the payoff is big. What you get out of it when you do it like that is just amazing and so juicy. It's so delicious.
What is the you mentioned discernment, and I think that's a really interesting topic for those that are listening in. I personally have found your channel online and your videos. What generally happens for me is I watch you for a month or two, and then I'm really watching everything. And then I sort of drift away, and then, there's so much content online these days. And then all of a sudden, another interview with someone in particular will pop up, and it's like, oh, boom. And then I'm back in, right? And I'm watching again for a month or two, and then I drift away. With all these voices online speaking to us, you mentioned the word discernment and our intuition, we're needing to dial into that. Yeah, can you sort of open that up a little bit more in terms of what you're articulating there?
Yeah, because it's one thing to to start to having recommendations from others, but it's another to really feel how it feels in your body. And I really do believe it's in the body that it happens, where you first meet someone, you hear about that, and how does it feel inside? What is your how does it vibrate? What is the first thoughts also that you have about this person? And just, you have to go for anything that feels great, that vibrates well, that opens your heart, that makes you feel good. Anything that is belonging to fear, or some people that are trying to, oh, you should do this because otherwise, and you better buy now this package so that you transform your life because bad things are coming in, like, be careful of that. But there's, if the person, how is the person walking the talk, and are they really living that? If they're talking about abundance, are they really abundant, or they want to be abundant through you? And there is all these things to really, really, really check out, because some people are still testing this and haven't experienced it. So it's very important to listen. Have they experienced all this? or how does it vibrate within my body when I hear them speak about that? And are they just not good speakers? Because some people can enroll you and can talk about peace and this and that, but they're not living a peaceful life at all, and they break into huge anger as soon as something is happening. So you just want to check how it feels inside. And it's like, as Sonia Choquette says, that I think is a wonderful teacher on intuition. You have to feel like we have a whole GPS system inside, and to follow your intuition, it's something that moves, that dances, where you go with the flow, and at the same time you just, okay, how does it feel here for me right now, where I'm at, not based on what another person say, or somebody trying to push me into their teachings, or so you want to look at people's eyes. I think for me, when I choose a person to interview, I look how light their eyes is, and there is light, and they have this smile, and if they have this really authentic, happy face like you have, like vibrates good. If you vibrate good, otherwise don't go for it. I look at the site, I look at the picture, and I feel the more we're listening to our intuition, the more we become mediums ourselves. Like we're all mediums, we can all tune into that. And it's just some of us have this a little bit more in tune than others, but we all have that. So we can all read really fast after a while, whether it's places, whether it's people, whether it's a contract, whether it's everything. So it goes boom, 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 boom. It goes really fast. And you make decisions really fast because you know how it vibrates when it vibrates well. And then you go with that. So you don't need to go through a whole, intellectual process. You just go for it because your heart, it feels great. And it's just not excitement. It's deeper than that. It's really within. And as I said earlier, all your cells are vibrating. And that's where you need to be, where joy is, basically.
I love that. You mentioned mediumship. I followed you for many years now, so I kind of know you, but I still would find it very difficult to find online. What is Lilou's faith? And I know that's a massive question, but I think you're being interviewed finally, so it's an opportunity for me to ask some of the harder questions. How would you describe your faith? Because you meet so many spiritual teachers from so many different backgrounds with so many different views on the world. And
it's just love, really. It's really love. It's following my heart that has reopened when I was 32 after a huge money breakdown, and I was back at my parents, and that was a huge reset on my life, and I had to have one of those conversations I didn't want to have, and I had this call. And all of a sudden, I free myself up, and all my body, just open up. And I felt like a huge shift. My heart reopened. I started seeing things different. So for me, I'm interested about so many topics, as you know. And I go with what's exciting, as I described earlier, what vibrates well. And it's not a faith. It's just really connecting to where life, I have faith in the sense that I trust life, that whatever's coming to me is it's gonna make me evolve and grow. And instead of really arguing too much about it, I maybe release quicker, and I just, okay, this is what I'm supposed to go through. How can I learn from this? What is there for me to learn? So I would let go of past limiting beliefs on this lifetime, but I will also look into past lives, and I will, whatever is energetically or mentally or emotionally like blocking the flow of just being who I am, I work on that. And then I would say I dance as much as I can with life, and enjoy myself. So the ideas come. I wrote 20 books, published with great publishers here in France. I organize all these things. We have an amazing online store. I mean, with my husband, I met 5-6 years ago, and I just, I put intentions out, and then I welcome the challenge that comes, and then I I go, yeah, but I call in also, I totally believe into also that we have guides, we have like dream teams in the invisible world also, that is essential to connect to. That we have this dream team, whether it's physical or non-physical, and it's important to contact them, to voice it out, to speak it out, to also co-create. As I said, hello, my delicious co-creators. That's how I start my video. So this is what I believe in, like into this in this co-creation, physical and non-physical. And I love this. I especially in the non-physical, even though if I love building things here on this planet, and I'm definitely grounded and feet on earth, but I love also to co-create with the non-physical. And I think that's when the game really gets exciting.
Can you unpack that a little bit for us? What does it mean to you to create something in the non-physical and then bring it into reality? Is that you setting a vision? Is that you setting an intention? Is it you feeling into your intuition? Like, what are you creating in with your dream team? Let's go there. Yeah.
Yeah, depending on what I'm about. Sometimes it's because I feel there is something that is not flowing, and I'm not inspired, and I feel low energy, dense, and then I say, hey guys, help me, bring it up, show me what's there. I will voice it out loud or not, but I will encourage the non-physical to come and help and manifest itself, or give me inspiration through nature, through a book that comes, information that comes to me, somebody that will give me information. So this co-creation, means you are acting, you are voicing out, you are daring to dream, you are daring to speak it, you're daring to claim it, and to open to receiving. And so this is a huge process in itself, just like, receiving. Oh my God. A lot of us are throwing at things like that. Oh, my dream is this and that. But then, how about really putting the energy, the vibration, the really being there, present, and saying, hey, claiming it. Hey, this is it. I'm ready. Bring on what I need to learn. So to fill in the gap between my dreams and what's, because there's always a gap, there's always challenge. It's a good thing that we have challenge. It's a good thing that we're going through a difficulty. Then I should look at, okay, what intention have I set up? What dream do I want to go to? Because this is going to give you a clue of what you need to evolve to get to that point. So it's brilliant. It's just, life is, to me, a projection of what we are gonna put out there and think it is. So you might as well create something fun and to play with. It's wild how I think life works, and how mysterious it is, and how it's going to continue to be a mystery, and that's fine. And that we're continue to grow all the time. Like, talking about discernment, I'm very careful when I hear somebody saying, like, they have the truth, and this is how it is, and this is, and being very serious about it. Like, I'm very careful with that, because it's we're always evolving. There's no stop to that. And thank God, if we're stopping, that means we're not living. We're just, surviving at best.
I've got two questions. I'll ask the easy one first. Has your discernment had to evolve more over time, the more work you've been doing? Yeah.
Because otherwise I had to, because it forced, with all these interviews, and I was traveling during these interviews, I had to fine tune my discernment. Though I have always been a person that's been,
gut feeling.
Like, I have my moon in Scorpio. Like, I would just, like, there's something that just
gut feeling.
Yeah. I'm not a person that thinks everybody is friendly. No. Because I definitely feel it. And now it's just, when I'm in contact with a person, I know their intention are not aligned. So there's something there. No, the shadow is over, on top of just, no. So I'm very, I've learned to fine tune it, and you learn through mistakes. And when I don't follow my intuition, and I used to be really hard on myself, and I damn it, you knew it, you had this intuition, and yet you went for it. And I was like, nah, nah, nah. I was beating myself up. And then I said, no, now I'm like, next time, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Next time I'll do it differently.
This is
And so after you said 20, 30, 100 times, 1,000 times, next time you start to really, get it and relax into it and take a little bit, just more time, or just learn exactly the frequency that it is at. This is why it's very subtil in French. It's very, it's not like a heavy brick. Sometimes it can be, but most of the time it's very, very soft information, and you need to read beyond appearances, really, because it can be a beautiful house on the ocean. And yet, when I did interviews from that place, I felt like weird all the time. And it was not the place to do these interviews and these videos. They couldn't be done from there. Clearly, there was something else happening on another on another plane. And you have to be really careful with that. And same thing with the person. It's not because they appear nice and they appear like they have it all together that they do. So you really have to watch beyond. Like, that's why the eyes are such a mirror, and how the person is behaving, and how it feels like to be in their presence, or how it feels to be in that place. And we have to listen to that. We made so wrong our sensitivity, like I used to be, why am I so sensitive? And this is bad. But this is actually a huge gift.
A gift, yeah.
Such a gift.
Lilou, this gift, even your relationship with challenge that you described earlier, and you sort of see the challenge come in and you get excited about it in certain ways, and, what's going to be birthed out of this? What's my evolution holding for me? Obviously I love that conversation, inspired evolution.
Yeah.
But there's this, if I dig into that a little bit deeper, there's this real trust in life that you're carrying there, because it's like, even the challenges are here to serve me. The question I want to ask is, was it always that way?
No, and it's not always that way either. So there's things, how things can touch just a deep place within ourselves, and then all of a sudden, like, oh my God, shit, I've lost it. Where is it? Where is that flow? Where is that vision? Where is that heart and this? So it's not always, but it's, I think the more we're on this journey, the more, of course, we have tools and experiences, and then the less we allow outside circumstances to run the show. So the quicker we're gonna, do a turning point, or how do you call it, would turn things around so that we get back into the flow. So it hasn't been always that way. I remember at the beginning of this journey, it was very tough, and there was long periods of chaos and of doubts and of just I wanted to so much help, and then I wasn't seeing things materialize. And I would go up and down. It would be big, roller coaster all the time. I was like, this is so, what's the point of this? And I so wanted to broadcast all these interviews for free. I so wanted to write books and inspire and help. And but there was something else I needed to learn. You see, this is why I very much pay attention to what is there in that challenge for me to learn, because the sooner you learn it or see it, and sometimes it requires help from the outside, to help you see that. And then all of a sudden, up, you're back, and you're into this new opening and new dimension of life, I can say, or new experience of life. But there's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. It's a journey. I think now, because there's more people and more people are ready for this, I think the transformation can happen really fast, but yet you still have to work on it. You still have to look at your shadow. You still have to let go of some past experience. You still have to co-create and go for it, and embrace what life wants, but also daring to receive and say, hey, this is what I want to co-create too. I think it's very subtle.
The intention of going deeper and embracing life is something that I get consistently from your videos. Have you found your intentions doing interviews has changed over the years?
No.
Yeah. Is that the heart of the intention?
To do interviews?
What is the heart of the intention when you're going into interviews? What is it? Is it to go deeper and embrace life more? What is you're hoping for?
No, it's to broadcast to as many people, to support as many people as possible.
And what is
it's always been that. So it's subject that I'm interested in, but it's mainly to broadcast and support growth and evolution for others, to as many people as possible. Like I really have that deep in my soul. Like it has always been, like maybe those videos have been viewed now to 100 million times. It's always been like that. Like and for some people it could come from the ego. For me it was just like that. Like this is it, this is how it feels. I'm designed and this is what I want to do. So it's not so it really, I choose the topic depending on if it vibrates well or not, and so it's like my dream team, or it's like intuition, or however you want to call it, or whispering that in my ears, the universe, and this is what I'm supposed to do, and I don't question anymore. So if a book, like this I have here, human design, okay, so I have all these books that I receive from different people, and if they just stay there, some books just happen to be just piling up, others, oh my god, this vibrates well, this other not so much, and this other is coming back and I hear from another person, and it's like I feel like we're chef d'orchestre, like
the orchestra, the conductor.
And at the same time we're not. This is what's so funny. So I really follow again my intuition and my heart. So it's not the strategy. Like I did business school, I went through all these great studies, and in the end I don't plan like what they were teaching us. I just really go with what feels right, and I've learned to trust that. So interviews is the same, and then of course recommendation from a person to the next. That really helped me at the beginning.
It's really interesting, that, isn't it? Because especially in the space that we where we interview people from, there's spiritual teachers, there's life coaches, and with life coaches there's also now business coaches, and there's a lot of people trying to help people with their abundance in a really practical way. But I've also found that I personally have had business coaches, and at certain times, and it's interesting you mentioned vibration, because there are people that that practically have helped other people. But then sometimes going into the work, it's like, this isn't like, I've applied what I've been told to apply, and I'm not yielding the results that I'm told I'm meant to be yielding. And then all of a sudden you'll just, spirit will say something, or intuition will say something, or something will drop in. It's like, you know what, I'm just going to try and keep it stupid simple, and I'm just going to do this. And it makes no sense. I shouldn't put my phone number on my website, and then it's like, boom, people will just call you, and only the right people call you. And you're like, what? Like, it was that easy? And I went and spent like all this money trying to get like all this stuff to happen. And it's really interesting what you're describing, because it sounds too good to be true, but in the practical sense of it, sometimes it's a really,
no, but it's not too good to be true from the standpoint that it's a lot of work on yourself to get it's a lot of discipline, and doing the practices and doing these therapies and this work, so that you can let go of some past way of thinking, and then it becomes really easy. And in the end it is easy, but to get there, it's not that, like abundance, for example. This is just looking at our relationship to money, is such a spiritual huge doorway to awakening. Just that, just working on that and looking at, okay, how am I using money? How is it? Am I just well, what is my insecurities? Your insecurities are showing up in your account. And this is something to look at. And there are experts, and specialists on many, for many of these areas. And then it's interesting because you can work on this insecurity within somebody that is going to do past life regression, with somebody that's going to do energetic work, with somebody that is going to work into yoga, with somebody that is, indeed a business coach, with somebody. But it's cool actually, and it's wonderful to try different things, and just not in one direction. I love how abundant life is, and how there is all these different possibilities and ways to go at it, to release. And maybe it will require years and years to release that blockage, but it's totally possible more than ever. So I don't remember your question anymore, but I got excited. Yeah.
More than answered it. So my next question is, someone like yourself, limiting beliefs. You come across these people that are inspiring the pants off you, literally. I mean, pardon me, probably not literally, but these people are super inspiring. And you're sitting down with them and you're having these incredible conversations. And especially with you, I've noticed that you are very capable of asking the poignant questions at the time. Sometimes current affair related, sometimes not, sometimes even personal to their own lives. You're not super, I don't want to say, probably super not afraid, I find, and just willing to be vulnerable and go there with people as well and share your own story as you're going into the story.
Yeah.
Have you, what is your process for overcoming limiting beliefs? Because I find lots of people ask this question and various people answer it in different ways. When you confront a limiting belief, let's say I want to get you on the Inspired Evolution podcast and I'm intimidated by Lilou has done this for way longer than I have. She's had over 100 million views. Oh my God, how dare I even have the audacity to interview her when she interviews everybody and I live off her interviews, right? But then there's a voice that goes, yeah, but wouldn't it be amazing to share in that? And I've had to sort of learn to sort of coach myself to go, okay, that little voice is actually way more powerful than the big voice, which has all the fears embedded in it. Now that's my own journey. And I sort of just play and go, okay, I wonder what happens if I just cultivate this little voice. Let's just play rather than get intimidated and overwhelmed. But different people, different processes for limiting beliefs. How do you navigate your limiting beliefs when they surface?
I really I work on them so I would work on if I have a big one, I would work on an epigenetic level, giving a new information to my brain, unlocking, really doing the work, reprogramming, what have you. And in the moment, if I have a limiting belief or something to overcome, I would just go back to gratitude. Back to gratitude, realign myself, and then allow intuition. For example, in interviews, it happens many times because I don't have a paper in front of me, that if I'm impressed with the person, or let's say I've interviewed a professor and what have you, I'm thinking of Professor Montagnier that had the Nobel Prize of Medicine, and here I am in front of him, and also like, oh my God, what's my next question? What's my next question? Oh my God. And I could hear myself, in my head. And we have all those moments where we're in our mental and we have our fears and this and that. So then I just go back into feeling the gratitude, and boom, all of a sudden the question comes, because I work on more on an intuitive level, as I said before. So I allow it to come. So this is why sometimes the people say, oh, but you asked the right question, the same questions that I had, how cool. But it's because just I allow to tune in into that person that I'm interviewing, and into the question, and to the big field. That's why I'm so excited to work with the non-physical, because I believe I have a team of 1,000 angels, and just guides and all that. And then I get really a big team to work with me. So then things are flowing. So I try to go back into, okay, realigning, feeling the gratitude again, reopening my heart, breathing, and just letting it be, even if it feels uncomfortable at times, even if it feels vulnerable, to just see. And if there is something that I need to voice out, to communicate, then I do that too. And I'm pretty okay with saying, okay, you know, I fucked up, or this is not, you know, being authentic, I think, is also a key here. And showing up to the person and saying that we don't know, or saying that we are afraid, or, you know, or saying what went on for us, and then recreating from there, and then things really start to flow back again.
Do you have a vision for the collective? Do you have a vision for what life could be like here on Earth? What is your vision that you're trying to move us towards with all the content that you're sharing in the world?
I really would love that each person realize how unique they are, you know, and that they are bringing a piece of the puzzle, and it's important to do this work so that they can show up and we can create the new Earth. We can create a world that where obviously everybody will have its place, but I think it's really, and that's when it's funny, because I think it has to be coming from us. We have to realize that we're the one we've been waiting for, and go for it, and showing up, and letting go of those limiting beliefs, because we're all part of this huge you know, we're all helpful, all useful, all part of this, and I believe the world is shifting into a different way of functioning. Indeed, like, it's important now to look at to develop our intuition, to look at to eat healthier, so that we raise our vibration too, to learn how to practice meditation, or at least moments in nature, in silence, alone. It's important to take care of ourselves so we can help others. And I think the world is shifting into really this co-creation, and bringing in together people that are coming from the same perspective, so coming from love. And for me, it's like we're there is two worlds, you know. There's one built on fear, and the other one built on love. So basically, we can tune into any dimension at any time that we want, and after a while, I trust me on this, you don't end up bumping anymore into people in fear, or that are not understanding what you're saying, or I think you're a little bit too high up with your ideas. You just end up really flowing really well in a world that is working. And I'm not saying I'm not seeing what's not going right in this world, but it's just I choose not to tune in into that, because this is lowering my vibration, and I prefer to be available to really the huge shift for humanity that is happening right now, and participate into that, and go on the field instead of being a spectator and commenting on other people and this and that. I really want to be on the field with the players, doing it and having fun, and co-creating this together. And a lot of things are possible these days. So it's really up to us to say, okay, do I want to be part of this adventure or not? And am I going to participate in this? Because I have something to bring in. Yeah, that nobody else can. So it's important. That this is why I'm so excited to put these videos online, and that hopefully it will help people to transform and to evolve.
I, for one, am super grateful that you carry this torch. I want to ask a question based on that, which, is a little bit for me. I find it really interesting every now and then, and I think you alluded to it, is like these two planes, you know, there's about that, you know, there are people that are operating out of love and people that are operating out of fear. And again, at the risk of, don't really want to sound judgmental, but perhaps discerning, sometimes every now and then there'll be one particular podcast that I'll put out there, and, you know, there'll be just a flood of negative feedback. And when the negative feedback is about, hey, like, you know, this was too loud, or your audio levels, or this, I love it. Yeah, like, absolutely love it, because it's like, people care enough to want to sort of up-level the inspired evolution. I'm on an inspired evolution. We're going to grow, and let's go. But when it's something that no one can do anything about, you know, it's like, it's never been like this, but your nose is too ridiculous or something, you know, and it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
like what is going, and the irony, and I always like the irony is I find it's always, in fact, it has been in the past for me, especially it happens on the topics when I cover the topic of trauma and a video will go out and then all of a sudden people will write insensitive comments and I'm just sitting there and I'm reading them and I don't take them in. Yeah, but obviously you're reading it, so some part of your subconscious, whatever. But at the same time, you look at it and you go, but this is a video on trauma. And you seem to be, and most people seem to be coming from their heart-centered place, but at the same time they're saying something which is quite jagged.
Yeah.
And I reflect on it and I go, like, I choose to just leave it alone. Like, if I just choose to say nothing, if you, like, you know, I just sort of go, okay, maybe 2 years later, you come back, you read your comment, you realize that potentially you were in an interesting place when you wrote that comment or something. That's what I'm thinking, right? How do you navigate hate mail? Like, surely you've had some
Yeah,
instances
well, the
where people are
process is a
going,
little bit different years later because I have a team. And so first the emails, I receive the emails directly, you know, with my assistant. It's been many, many years. So first that's part that is scanned. And then secondly, the messages under the video, I have so many of them that there's no way I could go back and read them.
Yeah.
So I just let go. I trust also my community to flag those if there is some insane, totally unrelated comments and spam and things like that. And I also trust that if something needs to be coming to my attention, it will. And I really have a strong belief on that. And things come to me, like, let's say if I've interviewed a teacher and there's some bad things happening with that person, which rarely happen, but it happened maybe, you know, few times over I don't know how many hundreds of and thousands of videos. But if there is something, then the information comes to me, and then I know. Then I don't hesitate to delete the video. I don't hesitate. If I run honestly into a really, really bad comment that has nothing to do, I delete now. Like if there is something that is totally ridiculous, you know. There's a lot of people I find that place more really harsh comments the past 2-3 years, because it's a way of them to, you know, to they think important, or to they haven't found a way to work on themselves, so they're you know, they try to destabilize others and are just so these comments, it's just, you know, if it's a good or a bad comment, none of these are the truth anyway. If it's an uplifting comment, it's like, oh, marvelous, and this and that, or how disgusting, and none of these are the truth anyway. So in the end, is there a lot of value watching at comments? I don't know, you know. It depends how many videos there is, or if you ask something specific, it's different. But otherwise, it's just a part of your community interacting with the video, and it's their own perception at the time based on what they're going through. And some people really have it really, really difficult right now. So they're just vomiting on you, and it's really hurtful sometimes. I know it touches my heart. I'm sensitive. This is why I do better without, you know, with limiting that, because none of it is the truth, you know. No. I just continue on my path and do what I need to do, and continue to, I know where I'm coming from, and I know I will still question, you know, and check where I'm at, and if I'm in integrity and align, and I have this in me, so I will check that. I don't need those external comments to and if there's feedback, I need to learn. And as you said, technical feedback, interesting feedback, information coming from the heart, or people that want to genuinely, that will also come to me if needed. So it's just a matter of really knowing that you're co-creating with life, and not being too obsessive with these comments, and just doing what you need to do, and focusing more on creating this content that you want to create, instead of checking do they like it or not. Because frankly enough, you know exactly if a video you did well after recording, you know exactly how well it's going to do. You see it right from the beginning when you post a podcast or you post a video, how it goes right up or not. and you learn from that. So it's up to you to learn of what they want based on views, also based on interaction, but true interaction, based on all these are information for you to fine tune in, but mainly tuning in with what you're supposed to. I think the work is more on for us to look at what is there for me to share with the world.
Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
I've interviewed quite a few people myself, and it surprises me what people prescribe community for. So community seems to be a really, really, really important part of being human, being alive, and our whole walk in life. You've obviously built an incredible community of people that are willing to challenge boundaries, think broader, open their hearts more, and be vulnerable. What does community mean to you, and what have you found over the years?
Good question, because there's been this word the past years, same thing. It's pretty recent. Oh, you need to build a community. You need to build a community. My God, this has become a marketing tool, but it's not. Community is like an extension. It's like family. Of course, because I start my videos with "Hello, my delicious co-creators." This is the community of co-creators. This is a community of it's people, like-minded people that want to co-create, and that this is what it is. It's like your peers. It's like your buddies. It's like your family. It's an extension of who you are. So the bigger the community is, the bigger the fall can be if you're not in integrity, aligned, and contacting them and asking them also for feedback and having this communication with them. I will always remember years ago when I had, for the 100-day challenge, changed the website, and all of a sudden I had all this hate comments and things. How can you do this to us? I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I hadn't actually asked them, and it's their website too. This is that community, is that you're co-creating with them. So as much as I said earlier, don't look at these comments, those hatred comments, or too much comments or else. When you're actually creating something and it's a new project, you want to communicate and exchange and have this flow of information, not on everything, and you also have to trust your vision and things like that, but you're co-creating with them. It's family, and it's precious. Community is precious. It's uplifting. It brings everybody. It can bring everybody up. But if one person within that community decide to start to put trouble and doubts in people's mind, it can go very fast too. So you need the best thing when this happens, because there is some people that just want to create trouble, and that because they're not courageous enough to look at their stuff, they prefer to point at you as a community, part of that, creator of that community. So it's really, you have to really watch for that. And the best thing is to be authentic and say, okay, if needed, okay, I fucked up. Okay, I didn't do this well. Okay, and this is what you can count on me for. And then you recreate. This is something I had learned years and years ago with Landmark Education. Was one of the first seminars I had done in the US in 2000. And I love this part, even though if I don't like everything that they do, part of recreating like that, being authentic, vulnerable, recreating. So voicing out what you want after you said, okay, this is what happened. Okay, I should have communicated better, or then you create a new context. And I've always seen that if you're vulnerable, if you're authentic, if you say the truth of what's going on, instead of hiding, instead of putting the ego and this and that, which create more trouble.
Defend.
Yeah. But if you say what's so, all the other people are human and they can totally hear it. And then boom, you're back on track. And if a person is needed to be kicked out of the community, that happened to me very few times. I think 3 times, and I had all the signs on and on and on that this person was trouble, and then that person was kicked out. But this happened maybe 3 times over all these years. And I'm talking here of large community, especially around the 100-day challenge, which was the reason why I started on YouTube. which has been 10 books in France, so huge communities of tens of thousands, of 100,000s of people, like, that are doing it each time and participating into this 100-day challenge and sharing on forums and this and that, and this is where these little troublemakers can come. But
for those in Australia hearing about the 100-day challenge for the first time, do you want to tell us what it's about?
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of Australians back then that were doing it. I'm thinking, I'm even wearing a Jewel Chick's sweater. Actually, this comes from Australia, believe it or not. And Jewel Chick was part of, Megan Castrant was part of the 100-day challenge back then. It was created in 2005, I think, 2005, 2000, yeah. In the US with 2 other authors. And the idea was to, for 100 days, set intentions and choose 3 practices every day that we would do for 100 days and therefore transform our life 100 days at a time. So because we would participate in yoga seminars or, or how to create abundance or how to this and that. And we would do it for just a week or 2, but how about if you do it consistently for a whole 100 days? That transforms your life. It's part of your lifestyle after a while. So so 100 days is really a milestone. If you want really it to be part of, like meditation, for example, if you want it to be part of your life, then do it for over 3 months. Do it for 90 days. And after 90 days, 100 days, that's why we round it up to 100 days. It becomes part of your life. So the 100-day challenge has been at the beginning just a community online, videos, people posting videos, and then it has been workbooks. So 100 days workbooks on different themes: developing your intuition, liberating your relationship with money, finding your life mission, conscious eating or sports, all these things that we know work, but transforming them one theme at a time.
I love that, because there's a difference, right, between talking spirituality and practically walking spirituality.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that for us? Because I'm sure, we've been talking spirituality quite a bit in our interviews.
And when we're talking, it's just mental, it's just mental. It's there and it sounds good. And I talk to my ancestors and this and that. Or there is really the experience of it. And then it's embodied. It's inside your body. You're vibrating that. You are this experience of it. So therefore you share it with everybody you meet, and through what you say and through your energy and how you act and all that. So spirituality is actually very grounded. It's not this thing where you're flying and seeing angels, just
it
angels, and you're making this vibe, and I have this vibe. No, it's meant to be incarnated within our body on earth, for manifesting, for supporting something bigger than us and going for it and enjoying it. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Life is meant to be received and co-created with. And so, there's a whole difference indeed between just talking spirituality and living it. So living it means experiencing other things. How about doing a little shamanic work? How about doing an energetic work and clearing some of that stuff going on? How about walking on hot cold? Gosh, when I did that, I remember that was Tony Robbins. That was awesome. I mean, that thing just blew my mind.
He gets you there, doesn't he? I don't know how he gets you across it, but he gets you across it.
No, but this is it. So an experience, you won't forget it, because it's in your body, and then it's there. Nobody can take it away. This is the whole difference. Nobody can try to argue with you. It's just this is experience. You're embodying it. So nothing, once you experience, it's yours. I mean, it's yours to share, of course. It's not just yours, but it's here. So how fantastic is that? And this is what's great with spirituality is you feel connected, you feel part of just life. You're including yourself in life, and you're co-creating, and it's just wonderful. And it's not just talk, or of course not. This is not fulfilling. This is not fulfilling otherwise. No, so ultimately it creates more joy in one's life because you feel you're part of life. You feel your life has more sense, more, it has a mission. You feel like you're on track. You feel like you're where you're supposed to be. So it's very, it's juicy. It's delicious to live a spiritual life in this body on earth.
How important, in your opinion, in just your opinion, is spirituality for good mental health?
For good mental health?
Yeah.
I wouldn't really be able to answer that question, though on one aspect of it, I know it can help some people with mental health problems because you can start to find solutions to maybe voices you hear or things that drives you crazy or things that didn't make sense until now, so you can find their solutions and actually use your gift, to help and support the world, the others, yourself, and all that. So it's just another playground and areas of exploration, and it's worth looking at it because on a spiritual level, for example, a person that is not themselves is not it tries to do a lot of things, but in the end it never works out, or hear things or feel bad in company of others, then there could be a spiritual solution to that. They could be, it can mean working on past lives. It could mean purifying, clearing. It could mean that maybe there is a hijacking of a soul, or there is something that just is so, that maybe you had a trauma, for example, and that something, part of you was just empty and whoop, something else came in. And so there's techniques for clearing, for purifying, for letting go on a spiritual level that have an impact on, this is when you observe after having this experience, the impact that it has on your life and how you feel more whole, more complete, more yourself. Because ultimately we want to be ourselves and we are unique. And instead of making ourselves wrong for being like that and being different, we start to embrace like, oh, there's something precious there for us to express and to help and to support others with maybe that same thing. So I think spirituality is definitely, it's definitely something to look at. Yeah.
I love it. Lilou. Thank you so much. I've got one lucky last little question. I know we've been super deep in the water, so this one's nice and shallow. You have the opportunity to ask Oprah Winfrey one question.
Oh my God.
What is the question you would ask her?
That's a difficult one.
Yeah, but you only get one.
That's a difficult one.
And you can't ask
me,
for more
always have
questions,
tons
okay?
of
This
questions.
is not the genie. You get one question. What would you be asking?
I would probably ask what makes your heart sing. So I could just see what, because I love in interviews when people flow and we're at their best place, and I would just probably want to capture that. I just loved capturing that in interviews. So I would probably ask her that.
Yeah, I love that. So, at the risk of lying, I'll ask you another question. What makes your heart sing? One more.
That people are courageous enough to do this work and dare to do something different. That's when I see others blooming, just opening, letting go, and just being so beautiful. That makes my heart sing when I see people transforming, because I know it's possible. Regardless of what we've been taught, it is totally possible. So I just love that when I see that around me and online and wherever. Yeah, I love it. And my heart sings also for nature. My heart sings for a beautiful interview. my heart sings for great moments where I said yes, and it's a true yes, and therefore I'm exactly like right now, exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Thank you so much, Lilou, for sharing your heart, your presence, your vulnerability, your authentic self with us, not just here today in this conversation, but honestly, again and again. It's honestly like podcasts, like myself, I'm in no qualms about it. I know it's been able to do what it's been able to do thanks to people. We stand on the shoulder of giants, and not to gas you up because I know you're grounded and humble, but honestly, you mean a lot to me in terms of the work you've been doing in the world, and I'm just extremely grateful for it. And on behalf of myself and everybody that tunes in from your community and the Inspired Evolution Tribe, just really sincerely, thank you so much for the work you do for us. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. You're so lovely. Thank you so much. Such a beautiful soul.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, leave us a comment, and if you want to stay in tune for the new episodes launching every Monday, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay inspired to evolve.